So, you ever just sit there, man, and look up at the sky at night, or just look at the complexity of your own hand and think, what the hell is all this? Is this whole thing, this entire universe, just some cosmic accident? A random series of events that somehow led to, well, to us talking about it. It's a wild thought. You get these physicists talking about the Big Bang and entropy, and it all sounds so chaotic, so undirected. But then you have this other side, this deep, ancient human intuition that maybe, just maybe, there's a mind behind it all, an intelligence, a creator. It's a question that has haunted humanity since we first started thinking. And it's not just a question for priests or mystics, man. Some of the most brilliant minds in human history, guys who built the foundations of Western logic and science, have wrestled with this exact problem. We're talking about heavyweight thinkers, intellectual giants who weren't afraid to go to the mat with the biggest questions imaginable. They weren't just taking things on faith. They were trying to use pure, unadulterated reason to figure out if there's a God. They looked at the universe, at existence itself, and tried to reverse engineer the damn thing to see if it pointed back to a source. So today, we're going to dive into that. We're going to pull up the files on 10 of these absolute titans of philosophy who looked at the evidence, looked at logic, and came to the conclusion that, yeah, God is real. This isn't about blind faith or dogma. This is about hardcore intellectual arguments. All right, first up, we've got this absolute beast from the 13th century, Thomas Aquinas. This guy was a different breed. He wasn't just sitting in a dark room meditating on an idea. He was all about looking at the world around him, the real, tangible stuff, and saying, okay, what can this tell me? He called his arguments the 5 ways, and they're pure, hardcore logical frameworks. Motion. His first way is the argument from motion. He sees things moving, changing, going from potential to actual. A log has the potential to be hot, but something actually hot, like fire, has to act on it. Nothing just moves itself. Trace movers back. You can't have an infinite series. You need a first mover, an unmoved mover, something that initiates all motion without being moved. Then the second way, causation. You see cause and effect everywhere. Rain causes growth. The sun causes evaporation. Nothing can cause itself. It would have to exist before it existed. So again, you can't have an infinite regress of causes. You land on a first cause, an uncaused cause. Third, contingency. Everything around you could have failed to exist. If everything were contingent, at some point nothing might have existed, and from nothing, nothing comes. So there must be a necessary being, the bedrock. He adds arguments from degree and from design, teleology. Scales of perfection imply a maximum, a standard of pure perfection. That's God. Teleology. Unintelligent things act for an end, like an acorn becoming an oak. An arrow needs an archer. Nature's aiming suggests intelligence. Aquinas saw a universe guided by supreme mind. After Aquinas, you get Anselm of Canterbury, coming from inside the mind. One of the most famous and controversial arguments. Define God as that than which nothing greater can be conceived. Which is greater, existing only in the mind or in mind and reality. Real existence is greater. If God is the greatest conceivable, he must exist. Otherwise, a greater, existing being could be conceived. Objection. The perfect island. Anselm. Necessary existence applies to God, not contingent islands. Now we jump forward to René Descartes. I think, therefore I am. He doubted everything, rebuilding knowledge from certainty. Clear and distinct ideas, like the triangle's angles, are inseparable from essence. He held a clear idea of a supremely perfect being. Existence belongs to that essence. Just as mountains entail valleys, perfection entails existence. Causal adequacy. The idea of an infinite, perfect being can't arise from a finite cause, God's trademark, in the mind. Enter Leibniz. The principle of sufficient reason. Every fact has a reason. Explaining links isn't enough. Why is there a chain at all? Why something rather than nothing? The reason for the universe lies outside it, a being whose essence is to exist. He strengthens the ontological root. If a maximally perfect being is possible, it exists. Perfections are simple, positive qualities, no contradiction in their union. Paley's watchmaker. You'd infer a maker from a watch's intricate parts and purpose. Complexity and precision scream design. The universe's complexity dwarfs a watch, so why not infer a grand designer? Modern form, fine-tuning. Shift constants slightly, and no stars, no life. The cosmos looks exquisitely set. Paley's intuition reborn. Pascal's wager. Not a proof, bet smart. Live is a forced wager, for God or against. God exists or not. Wager for God. If right, eternal joy. If wrong, small finite loss. Wager against, if right, finite gain. If wrong, infinite loss. Objections. He says, act as if, pray, participate, live the life, belief may follow. For Pascal, it's the only rational move when the stakes are infinite. Alvin Plantinga revives the ontological argument with modal logic, possibility and necessity. All-powerful, all-knowing, morally perfect, in every possible world. Key premise, it's at least possible such a being exists. If in one possible world, then by necessity in all, including the actual world. Grant possibility, logic yields actuality. He also argues belief in God can be properly basic, rational without inference, triggered by experience. And his free will defense, evil's existence isn't logically incompatible with an all-good, all-powerful God. Richard Swinburne builds an inductive Bayesian case. Theism is a simpler hypothesis than many brute, unexplained laws. He stacks independent evidences: existence of the universe, fine-tuning, consciousness, moral truths, religious experience, history. Cumulatively, he argues, the scale tips toward theism. C.S. Lewis. The moral law. People everywhere appeal to a standard of out. We argue as if a real standard exists, beyond instincts or convention. A universal moral law suggests a lawgiver, personal, moral God. Our deepest desire, no world thing, can satisfy points beyond. I was made for another world. Augustine. Amidst flux and change, our minds grasp eternal truths, like 2 + 2, 4. Such truths don't live in fickle minds or changing matter. He places them in the eternal mind of God. Divine illumination. God's light enables understanding. Our hearts are restless till they rest in God, true order, peace and being. So there you have it, man. 10 of the sharpest minds attacking the same question. These aren't dusty relics. They're live arguments, still shaping universities today. Cause and effect, morality, consciousness, existence, signposts pointing beyond. Don't take my word. Dive in. There's no bigger question.